What's going on, YouTube? So you want to buy a guitar from Japan, but you don't live in Japan. Maybe you're like me and you're in the United States. Well, no longer a problem, because today I'm going to hopefully show you some tips, some tricks, some things to do to help educate yourself on how to maybe find the deal you've been looking for. And we're going to kind of reference the brand Greco guitars because that's kind of the thing I like to cover on this channel. But we're also going to concentrate on a website called Rinkya that helps us do this. And how did I come to find Rinkya? Well, let's kind of rewind to what most people will do when they go to shop for things, or guitars maybe in general. You're going to run to eBay, right? And the things I discovered with eBay that helped me figure out a different way of doing this, because looking at the prices and the shipping fees, in my opinion, they're astronomical based upon the value of the model that you might be looking for or that you want to buy. So like just scrolling through, like here's a 78 EG500, beautiful looking burst, looks probably really good quality, but it's at 800 bucks. And something like this, say I was in front of it in a shop in Japan, would maybe go for, a little more than half of this price. So I started to think, well, what would I do if I was in Japan? How do I get my hands on, like if I was a buyer in Japan, how do I do that? And that brings us to this website called Rinkya. So what does Rinkya do? They're basically a search engine that houses a bunch of different places for auctions, and not a lot. So they're a service. And what that means is it helps you buy items from Japan. And they're not just Greco guitars, they could be anything. But essentially you can buy from any online shop in Japan without the Japanese knowing, apparently. So here's a rundown of what this website does for you. Please take the time, if you're going to do this on your own, to look through this stuff in detail. In order to keep this video short and to the point, I'm just going to kind of take us through the hot points. So I already kind of mentioned that they're like a big search engine essentially. So they pull stuff from Yahoo, Japan auctions, specific stores. They basically give you the ability to kind of see more auctions than what you would in just like maybe a Yahoo search or whatever. So they work with the buyers, and here's how it runs down. Say you go into, we fast forward, we go and make a purchase, we buy a guitar. After you win the auction, you'll receive a notice that gives you your total, because they're going to add some fees to your total. Okay? And what happens is you have to make sure you understand those fees. So again, here's a rundown of all this stuff. But essentially, after you won the item, you've paid for it, and you paid some fees, the seller will then just ship this item to the warehouse. Maybe the seller thinks that they're shipping it to you, but it's actually the Rinkya's warehouse. At the warehouse, this is where the beauty kind of takes over. The item arrives, and Rinkya is going to go through the item. They're going to look through the shipping. They're going to make sure that it matches up with what the auction was. Okay? They're going to make sure nothing's broken, nothing's missing, that you didn't buy something that isn't as described. And then they're going to rebox it up, put it together in a probably even better shipping ability, and then they're going to ship it off to you at an additional fee. So they're going to kind of cover your butt on a lot of scenarios. And at the same time, they're going to help translate the pages. They're going to help you understand what you're buying and things like that. Their chat and their customer service is fantastic. So like I said, I love these guys. I've purchased maybe 3 or 4 guitars from them, and they're phenomenal. So the fees, let's get into the fees real briefly so you can kind of get an idea on the rundown of how this works. Because this is kind of where the bread and butter is if you want to make... If you're in that situation, you're like, all right, I'm going to pull the trigger on something and I want to get it. Here's what to be mindful of. Again, read through this in detail on your own, but here's a rundown. So your item price, whatever the final bid is or the buy it now price comes out to, you're going to get that price, and then you're also going to commissions fee. Some commission fees get to be bigger than that number depending on the final value of what you've purchased, but not always, so it just depends. And then a seller fee that's usually an always $15 kickback that I guess they give to the seller or whatever. Those are the fees that come into contact before you're even shipping anything. So be aware of that. Your shipping costs, you've got a domestic price and all that kind of stuff, but here's international shipping. So like you're like me, you know, international, United States, whatever, you're going to estimate out $25 per 2 kilos to ship it to the United States. So what does that all mean? Well, let's help you calculate, because they got a cool little calculator here. And there's probably some stuff over here that you should read, but here's a quick rundown of how to calculate what you're going to get into, say you're going to purchase something. So let's just use a simple figures, and we have to do this in yen. So like for average stuff in yen, you generally move the decimal point over 2 spots to get your amount. So maybe we want to spend $200. Maybe that's all I want to spend. So I put in 20,000 yen. My commission fee is going to get calculated to 35 bucks, and then my seller fee to 15. So that means typically, okay, I purchased, they're going to invoice me for 238 as opposed to the $200 that you thought you were going to do. So you have to watch out for that. But 238, sweet. My shipping fee doesn't include that either. So I have to then kind of estimate my shipping, or I can contact them before I make a bid and I can find out, hey, this is what I'm doing. You know, like I said, they're super helpful. They're amazingly friendly and things like that to help you kind of figure out what you're going to be paying for. Because they want you to understand what's going to happen here, because you can't go back once you make a purchase in a sense. So international shipping, blah, blah, blah. So say your average guitar weighs, 3 to 6 kilos, I think. So maybe with the box and everything, let's just estimate out 8 kilograms. That's an easy $100, because 25 times 4 is $100. So bingo bango, 338 as opposed to the original price of $200 that you thought you were going to purchase. So once you're aware of all that stuff, please put that into the calculator so that you can kind of get your mind around what you're going to end up spending, because it'll come at you out of nowhere. You're like, whoa, sweet price, but then you got these extra fees on top of that. But at the same time, maybe you have a guitar that's listed for 200, 300, 400 bucks. That is $800 on eBay. That's a hell of a difference to pay as compared to like 600 or 700 bucks as a final price. So that's kind of how this works. Now, navigating the particular so that's kind of how that works. Okay. Now navigating the website, super easy. We're in a situation where I had a guitar pop out and I really wanted to buy it. So this is kind of the steps that I take to look through the auctions and kind of get an idea on how to decipher things. So I just did a simple search for just Greco all items, and I like to do this from time to time. I'm a nerd. I like to see what the prices are, what the market's doing, and things like that. But say I find one that I like, you can see bid price, buyout price, just a buyout price there. So there's all kinds of stuff mixed in here with the guitars. But say you find one you like I'm just kind of scrolling through, and ooh, maybe I had the money and I wanted to buy something like this. Like, ooh, here's a 900. So hey, I like this one. Let's check this one out. So I like to click on the pictures first. So you click on the picture, and you're going to get to cycle through how many ever pictures there are, and you kind of get an idea for the details. And you kind of go through, see what it looks like. Okay, so you get a gig bag there. You got good quality. The cool thing with the Japanese is they're going to take pictures of all kinds of blemishes and angles, and so you know kind of what you're getting, because this is stuff they're passionate about. They want you to know where there might be some wear and tear and things like that. So you cycle through, you can kind of make sure, all right, yeah, I like this, looks good. If you want to go into the auction, then you go into this link here that's going to take you into the page that's got more details and things like that. So we're in a situation where I found a guitar that kind of had my jaw drop, and I went into the pictures to kind of decipher things, and here's the purpose of this video. Is this is the guitar that I was looking to buy, right? So here's how I kind of decipher things when I'm going to go through an auction. When I saw the title, I saw Greco question mark, 75 years made Les Paul, junk EG. So initially you would kind of be thrown off to that, because there's a lot of question marks there, and junk. Okay, something wrong with this probably. But the buyout price is what had me dropping my jaw. It was like 90 bucks. Holy cow. Normally something like that would go for 200, 300 bucks maybe at auction price, if it was just left at an auction. But maybe somebody didn't know what they had here. Maybe there's something broken. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna look through the pictures. And given what I know about the history from '75, I knew it was a bolt-on guitar, but I liked the look of it, so I was like already interested. But bam, the first picture I can see the bolt right there. So obviously it's not something I would normally seek out for, but for $90, it had pulling me in. So I'm gonna go through the pictures and try to figure out what everything from the title means. Quality so far looks good. I can't see the logo up here, so maybe that's why there was a question mark on it, but from my history of research and the background of stuff, I know that it should definitely be a Greco. And then here's a better shot of the headstock. Yeah, so it looks like they probably painted over it, or they rubbed it away, or for whatever reason. Why would you do that? I don't know. But for $90, it's a small. Maybe I can sand that away, and then the logo exposes itself. But I can tell from the shape of the headstock, and from what I know from these years, that it is a Greco. And as we get around to the back side of the body, there's my plate, so there should be a serial number on there, and it should say something about made in Japan as I kind of cycle through, and bam, there it is. So 1975 for sure, made in Japan. So yeah, it's matching up. It's definitely a Greco. Some wear and tear on the back side and some knots and stuff, but you know, like I said, they're passionate about taking pictures of things. Oh, here we go. There's the screw and the spring missing, but that's definitely not a reason to call it junk. That the thing probably doesn't move once the string is in there, saddled up and on there tight. Probably doesn't even move, but you know, good to note and good for an easy change, an easy fix. So yeah, so I was like, all right, well, let's look into this and try to decipher what they have for the description. Because then, if you like what you see, go into the description. Because then you're going to try to figure out and translate what they're kind of saying in the details. And they write things funny, it translates funny, but it does a pretty good job. So here's the way that I kind of look through things to help you kind of decipher how they word things, because they word things funny, and after seeing many of these, you have to kind of read through the lines to get the idea of what they're saying. So the first line here is the Les Paul you think that the Greco. So I think essentially what they're trying to say there is they think that it's a Greco. They don't know because obviously it's been painted over the headstock. So they get both the sound from the pickup of it, so sound from both of the pickups, which is a good sign. So we got good functioning pickups there, I guess. The jack, pot, there are many to contact failure selector. So that, to me, that means a couple things. Maybe the input jack has some contact issues, or the selector tip for the pickups maybe doesn't slide over to the pickup right or something like that. So wiring issues, essentially. So not a big deal. That's an easy fix. Definitely wouldn't consider that junk for that reason. Here's the threaded part for the first string of the frame, and does not have a spring, so that saddle missing the nut or missing the screw and the spring and whatnot, not a big deal, easy change. The pick guard has been missing, so that's obvious. Head has marks such as fill. So here's your headstock. They have marks, maybe they filled it, so it's been painted over, obviously. So there's their description there. Peg comes with those of 6 stations type made of Goto. So I think they're referencing just maybe the tuning pegs. There's 6 there, which it looked like is correct, and they're made of Goto. Cool. And then just kind of some disclaimer stuff, making sure that they're kind of covering their butt. So there is some feeling of use since it's a used article. So obviously from '75, nobody's buying this to make it sure it's mint condition. You want the character, hopefully. But because it is in such a state, I send as junk as is. So they're just saying it's as is. It's in a state of junk. It's not really, but please use to repair assumptions, part picking. So you're going to assume you're going to be repairing some parts probably, and they have the inspection. But when there is an oversight, please pardon. So they're again covering their butt, like, okay, we inspected it, but please pardon if we missed something. Since it's used, it claims no return. So if they overlooked anything that doesn't work any further than that, oh well. And that's it. It's pretty legit. I was super stoked to see this kind of a price come up, and it's just kind of a no-brainer to be able to get this guitar out of Japan for the fees and everything like that were going to come from it. It was super low, so I was super psyched. And so yeah, that's kind of how I kind of decipher that. We're going to go back in the past, the next chunk of things, we're going to go back into the past to where I kind of take you through the steps of how I actually just hit the button to purchase this. And all right, so here we go. We're going to go ahead and make this purchase. I'm pretty excited about this one. So I'm going to, normally I would bid it now, but we're going to buy out. This is the easier version of how you would buy. We're going to preview the bid, $88.29. It's the same price. So once I bid, so just be careful. So now you're going to get translations somewhat mixed, but bid at this time, if this one, you must purchase the item up to the amount above and pay the associated fees. So at the times of service, you cannot change or cancel. So your mileage, make sure that you know what you're doing. Place bid. And I clicked on the buy it price, so hopefully it should give me the buy it price and not just the bid. Let's go internet. All right, so bid was successfully placed. Back to the auction. And that should give me the buy price. All right, and so that says it's not on the website no more. So cool, right? The highest bidder, 9,800 yen. So that's under 1,000. Well, it's under 10,000 yen. So we got 90 bucks. So I should be set up, and I should have some sort of email. Hopefully. Let's go to my orders here. Let's refresh my orders and see if I can finalize this. There we go. I'm winning. Buy out. Status open. Please pay. Why can't I pay? Well, this is interesting, right? There we go. Okay, there goes my email. Okay, it's just a little delay there. That makes you panic a little bit. All right, so boom, yen, $88, a little bit of commission, and a little bit of a fee. Not much, but still, for that kind of a price, dude, I'm pretty excited. It's pretty sweet. 24 and 15, so not too terrible. We're gonna get this under 150 bucks, which is crazy. All right, so you're gonna check out. Happy with what I did. Please choose order to pay for. All right, select, I guess. My fault, website. Check it out. And it should have saved my credit card details on here, so hopefully, otherwise I can do PayPal. And blammo, order was successfully paid for. Pretty legit. Click here to see the status of everything. And so there you go. Expected still in December, so we just have to wait for it to be arriving at the warehouse. So pretty awesome. So that should be my total fee for everything. And who can say they get a guitar from this era for 120 bucks? You can get pretty lucky. I saw a couple go at this price, surprisingly around this year, but there we go. Thanks for checking this out. We're gonna sign off with you right now, and then we'll come back later when everything comes through. We'll probably have an unboxing or something even better. I don't know. We'll find out. Thanks for watching.